You must look forward to coming back here. You've more European Tour wins here than anywhere else, and former resident. Is it always nice to come back?
Yeah, of course. It's great to be back at Emirates Golf Club. I made Dubai my home for almost 10 years, and I played in practice an awful lot here at Emirates. So I feel like I know this course inside out, and had the success in 2007 and had a couple of high finishes. So yeah, great to be back. Lots of support, and it's a really enjoyable week for me being back here. And with a good finish on Saturday, as it was in Doha. Last round was the best one of the week for me. We finished off with a couple of birdies there and got a decent result. So of course the local knowledge and slight improvement in form and golfing should give me the chance to hopefully go a little bit better than I did in Doha.
Do you feel confident? Do you feel like you found something there on Saturday?
Yeah, I think it's been slight improvements all along. I came here with a plan to do some good work with my team and try and move in the right direction every week and every day. And you're not necessarily doing it every day, but at least on a weekly basis, I feel like I've taken some steps in the right direction. It's always hard to know when you're going to fire on all cylinders, but it's definitely in the right direction. And you never know, it can sometimes you find little bits in your game and in your field, and you can turn it on quite quickly. So at least I'm positive.
Mm-hmm.
I've obviously played better than I am at the moment, but I certainly played a lot worse as well. So we're somewhere in the middle.
You mentioned
lurking in the background a little bit.
You mentioned there's a kind of a long-term plan, and is it all kind of going to plan at the moment?
Yeah, I feel so. I feel like it is. I had these 3 weeks together with my swing coach, and physio was out for the first 2 weeks, and then conditioning coach. So we did some good gym work. I got a whole month at home for practice now in preparation before that real intense period leading up to Augusta. So 4 weeks at home, a lot of gym work, a lot of golf practice towards the end of that 4 weeks. And then I play Doral, Tampa, Bay Hill, week off, Houston, Augusta. So it's really, this is the time of the year now to do the hard work and hopefully play my way into some really good form into Augusta. But that's a little bit further down the line. So we're still trying to get the best result we can here and get some work done.
Cool, thanks Henrik. Open the floor for some questions.
Always joy.
Henrik, I know you've said on this golf course, one of the keys is to find the right line of the tees. But wasn't that a little bit of an unusual preparation for this golf course, going to the shooting range and shooting the hell out of the bullseye?
Oh, I mean, anytime you can fire at a bull, hit the bullseye, you're good no matter what sport you're doing. So I've got a couple of hole-in-ones coming up this week, and if I can keep that same velocity in my swing, it's going to be all good. I think as a 9 mil.
But how important is something like out-of-the-box preparation for you at times? I mean, not just sweating it out on the golf course or at the driving range, but doing something like this just on the eve of the tournament.
Yeah, I've had a couple of busy weeks. We do quite a few things outside just playing and practicing these weeks, and I managed to have a day off and just wanted to do something else. To relax your mind, you just need to do something completely different, and it doesn't really matter what it is. I guess I could have been building sandcastle down on the beach or shooting a couple of rounds at the shooting range. It's just do something different, and had a relaxed day yesterday, so we should be a little bit more energized and give it all for these 6 days.
You seem to be pretty good at it.
Yeah, I was. I wouldn't say I surprised myself, but towards that. We all have high expectations, don't we, when we go into the shooting range or dart or anything. But yeah, I was fairly steady.
Anybody else? No.
You don't want to meet me in a dark alley.
Swedish sniper?
Yeah.
I've often hear players talking about a course suits their eye. Stephen Gallagher obviously that's
He doesn't like this one at all, does he?
How often in a season do you feel you stand up on a golf course with that feeling?
25% maybe, something like that. 30. Yeah, it's not every week, that's for sure. And I guess there could be, sometimes you can really like the look of a course. It might not be the one that actually suits your game the most, but it really looks nice and inviting to your eye. And then sometimes you might feel like, well, it might not be the course that I enjoy the most, but it really suits the game well. So it's a combination of the two as well. But it certainly helps. And what I love about this golf course is that due to slight wind changes, it's going to change how you pick your lines and where you're trying to hit the ball off the tee. And due to a lot of dog legs, it also gives you that option to be more aggressive or more defensively, how you feel about your game and what you think is the right choice. So it certainly is a course that you can play over and over again, and it always feels like you're playing a slightly different course. So it's a great layout in that sense. If you look at it, it almost goes in 2 circles, which then the wind direction will affect all the holes slightly differently. And take 13 for an example, this short ball, the shortish ball 5. You can hit driver really aggressively and come in with an 8 iron if you hit a great tee shot. But if it's into, then you might have to hit 3 wood straight out, and you can only reach the second shot. So you can really play in many different ways, and I think that's great. And it's got a great finishing hole set up for some drama as well, which we've seen over the years. So that's a great track.
Joey again.
Henrik, mostly right-to-left dog legs on this golf course, quite a few right legs. Does it really matter that how the whole is set up for you, or are you just comfortable whichever way the dog leg moves?
No, it will matter for sure, given your preferred shape or your natural shape of your shot. It will make a difference in some cases, but then again, if you're playing well, even if you fade it, you can, as long as you pick your line, you start the ball you want to, and then curves back. It might give you slightly less margins at times, but you can still do it regardless of shape. But yeah, a high draw will suit for a lot of the holes. And isn't that what that kid, what's his name, Rory, is hitting normally?
Anyway, of course you can make a lot of birdies out of it. Do you come into a week like this knowing that, thinking you're going to have to go low this week? How does that work?
Yeah, you kind of have a rough idea about the winning score. I think we've normally been, 17, 19 under, somewhere around there. It's normally you're not going to be far away if you get to those numbers. So that's 400 or 500 a day if you want to be there. And most weeks you have one day where you might not be scoring that well also, so you definitely need to shoot some low numbers. But it's got a number of reachable par 5s, a couple of par 4s that are a little bit shorter, so it's definitely birdie chances out there. And you will, when you know it's low scoring, you normally start out feeling that you want to be a little bit more aggressive, but it's a good track, and it's got a few holes that can bite you back as well, so you kind of got to find that balance.
Martin again.
Henrik, I know it's a little bit further down the road, but the Scottish Open, is that in your thoughts this year? I know you didn't play last year, haven't played the year before.
No, I'm not. It's still a part of the year where I haven't quite decided yet, and I have a few different options in terms of preparation for the Open. So I don't like to make promises I'm not going to keep, so I'll leave it uncertain as of now. We'll have to touch base on that later, maybe tomorrow.
Yep.
Hi Henrik, I would like to ask about Miguel Angel Jimenez, because about he's playing European Tour with yours, and now he goes to Champions Tours and wins. What do you think about him, and if you see yourself in the future like him, competing and
smoking a lot of cigars and having a long curly hair? I think it was great. I just saw that yesterday that he won in Hawaii, right? And he won his first, after Augusta, he played and won his first Champions Tour start as well. So he likes it over there on the Champions Tour, and he's a great player. You know, his game has really stood up over a long time, because he's got a strong short game, and his technique on the long game. He's not a long hitter, as we know, but he swings the club in a very efficient way and keeps the ball in play. And he can be around for as long as he wants to, partly because of his sound technique in that sense. And just shows you that if you can stay competitive on the European Tour, then you're competitive, definitely on the Champions Tour and even on the PGA Tour. So it's it's good to see, and he's a fun character. He's enjoyed. A lot of people enjoy watching him play, and he's a character, and we need some characters. So it's good to see him win. And well done, man.
Henrik, before Abu Dhabi, you seemed quite bullish and confident about where your golf was at, and obviously that didn't quite work out down the road.
True.
But in Qatar, obviously, it was more to your liking. Do you sense that your performance in Abu Dhabi wasn't a fair reflection of where your golf's at the moment? And do you think Qatar's more where it is?
Yeah, I mean, when we started in Abu Dhabi, I felt like I was a whole lot fresher than I was the year before, which might have been a bad comparison because I was really knackered when I came there last year. This year I was feeling normal, so that felt like a huge improvement, and it was. And I hadn't played a lot of golf, but I still felt like I was hitting the ball nicely. But the closer to the tournament, the further away it got, which can happen at times. So it wasn't the start I wanted, and I'm just working away and trying to make the long-term work take me in the right direction, and not falling into the trap of I gotta play well this week. So going for quick fixes is not really what we're after at this point. So I want to build in the long perspective, and I think I'm taking some steps in that direction, and that makes me happy.
Kind of following on from that a little bit, when your game is on, there's nobody that can touch you really. If it was,
I'm sure there's a few guys, though, but I managed to have some good weeks and leave some of the guys in the dust, maybe.
well, really, if that was to happen this week, if you had one of those weeks this week, would that change your scheduling process? Would you rethink things leading up to Augusta?
No, I got my plan in place. I'm happy with that one, and I'm not going to let any good or bad short-term things really going to change that one. I got to try and take my game another step. I got to work really hard and in many different areas, and that's what I'm intending to do in the month ahead. So it's not a win or lose here. It's not going to make a difference. The only time where you would make it change, I mean, if I go to but then you got scheduling problems as well, because we got a number of tournaments both on the European Tour and the US Tour, so I can't really afford to take too many off. Even if with that month off, I can't take too many out. But that would be the only thing. If you're feeling like I'm really playing well and I've done well in Doral and Tampa, would you then think, maybe I should not push it another week? And but my schedule is kind of set, and I intend to stick to that one. For the most part.
Ian, to the back.
Henrik, just on the subject of Miguel, how do you view his Ryder Cup captaincy credentials?
Well, I think most likely we're going to see a race between Darren and Miguel, and I mean that's the beauty of being a part of the tournament committee that no longer votes for it. So I don't have to put any thought into it. I just have to wait like everybody else until the result comes out. I think we've got a lot of capable candidates for captaincy, and we'll just have to wait and see. My guess is as good as yours.
Presumably, though, the committee will canvass the opinion of leading players. How important is it for them to take on board the views of guys such as yourself?
Yeah, as of now, I haven't been asked in these. By anyone on that committee, so I'm sure it's made up of the 3 previous captains, right? And Thomas? No?
And George and David Howell.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I mean, they got enough experience between themselves to come up with good decisions, and I'm as curious as you are. I believe they haven't met yet. They haven't managed to get that meeting together, so I don't know when it's scheduled to happen, and I'll be there I can give you my thoughts when we see the result.
How comfortable is that fence you're sitting on?
Very comfortable. It is. Yes.
Anybody else?
Good try though.
You said you were obviously working towards these long-term aims, but have you had any chats about maybe having a Swedish major winner this year with you and the lads? Alex Noren's playing really well at the moment, for example.
Yeah, that was. I was very pleased to see his comeback go so well. He's battled his wrist injury for it pretty much put him out all of last year and the back end of 13 as well. So great news to see him back, and he finished with a 65, I think, on Saturday in Doha. So no, that was great to see, and yeah, it's all about giving yourself chances. I know we're going to win one sooner or later. Of course, I hope it'll be me. I've been more worried about me not winning one rather than being the first one. If one of the other guys can do before me, you know, great for them. And I'm just working hard to make sure it happens for me, because it's really the last thing missing on my CV. So I'm just going to try hard to be well prepared leading when I get to the majors, and give myself as many chances as I can. I kind of look at roughly a 5-year period. That's 20 majors. If I can come in well prepared, hopefully playing well in a number of them and being up there, I fancy my chances. I can close out the deal at some point. Whether it happens this year or next year, if I'm first, second, out of the Swedes to do it, doesn't really matter. I just want to make it happen.
Henrik, you keep talking about having a conditioning coach and doing so much physical work, gym work. Yeah, everyone talks about the strength of yours. But tell me, when you were turning pro, what's the kind of difference that you feel in your own body from that time to what you are now at the age of whatever?
Same as
I don't want to say the age. But
same as everyone in here, it just aches a bit more, right? I think, no question, I would have benefited from, if I could have done the work I've done with Cornell in the last 3 years, if I could have done that when I, in my late amateur days or early pro days, I would have had a better foundation throughout my career and less chance of injury, and I would have been stronger and fitter as a player throughout my whole career. So it is important, and I think more and more of the young players realize that, and the last 10 years, fitness amongst the players and out on tour has developed so much. So it is getting more and more, and more for the, if your body breaks down, you're not going to, we see that so many times, players get injured and you can't play if you're injured. So that's as important as developing the physical side for being better as a golfer. It's also to be able to handle the practice and the travel and the stress you put on your body hitting all those golf shots, because it's a very one-sided motion, and it's going to wear you down sooner or later. And I start to feel it closing in on 14 in a year or so.
how many hours do you put in now in a week in the gym and conditioning compared to, say, when you turned pro 20 to 23?
Well, at times back in the day, I didn't really do much other than in the winter time, perhaps. During season, it was very little, and then you get that. You do some good work maybe when you have time off for a couple of months, and then you just gradually go down throughout the year, and then you have to build it up and you go down. And instead of being able to elevate a little bit in your off season and then try and maintain it, you can always, so it's a different philosophy. And there were times when I didn't do much at all, and now at least I try and maintain it out on tour, and I've done a bit more these last couple of weeks to try and get my year started, or my season started in that department. And when I get back home, it's going to be a bit hard work the first 2-3 weeks in the gym to get that little bit of a base build, because that's the hard thing when you have a shorter off season as well. You want to rest, but then you've got to have time to build up. And if you only have 4 weeks off in between the seasons, it's not really enough time to get everything in.
Do you like to do weights like 400 pounds and all that?
It wasn't 400 pounds, it was only 380 or something. Those discs are a little deceiving. I have to disappoint you in that. But I wouldn't say I do as much heavy weights that maybe some of the guys do throughout a tournament week. If I do it, it would be Monday, possibly Tuesday, and then throughout the tournament days, it's more maintenance stuff and core, back, crossover patterns, and just overall addressing some of the weak points.
Okay, there's one more question.
Henrik, what do you put your success in Dubai down to, in your opinion? What's it? Obviously, you have personal connections to the place, but what do you think it's down to, really?
Yeah, I think that's one part of it. I always felt very comfortable here, and from having made it my home for such a long time. But also the golf courses, the good golf courses, and they promote strong ball striking, and that's always been a strong part of my game, tee to green. And looking at the results I had at Dubai Golf Estates, the percentage of fairways and greens it might not be the tightest course in the world, but I had a very high percentage of greens in regulation. And if you're playing on a course that has Bermuda rough, the more fairways and the more greens you're going to hit. It's almost like leverage in your game, because it's very uncontrollable out of the rough, and chipping around the greens is hard too. So I guess you get a bit of a double effect if you're hitting a lot of fairways and greens on a course like that. And here I think it comes down to just having played here so much and really knowing the course. And yeah, I guess I like sunshine as well.
Well, thank you very much, Henrik. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Have a great week.